I was sitting at the home infusion that day, and our server was down. So there was not much we could do.
Okay.
So I'm talking to a colleague of mine. She's in enrollment of patients, right? And she's like, Amina, why are you daydreaming? And I said, you know what? I don't want to be here. you know, well, this is down. My mind is just thinking, I need to go back to independent pharmacy. So I was sad that that lady had sold. And so I'm trying to find, how do I go back to it and not go to the chain?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I'm going to open my own pharmacy. And she laughs at me. We still laugh about this. She's like, here you go again, Amina, dreaming of all this. I said, I am. And she said, do you know anything about opening a pharmacy? I said, no, but I've seen enough and I just need to find space. So I go on Google and I said, space for business, for pharmacy. And this phone number comes up. So I call this number and this gentleman says, yes, actually, we have a space. And he gives me the address. Do you know it was right across the street from the CVS that I had left? People think it was intentional that I went back to that community, but no. So it was this phone number on Google. And they said, yes, we have a space. And they said it's on Village Lake Drive. And I said, Village Lake Drive? When can I meet you? So we arranged to meet on the weekend. And I see the space across the street from the CVS that I worked. So I say, the universe is telling me I have to do this. So I was like, I want this space. And while I'm talking to him, a lady comes out of, there was a Family Dollar, there was a dry cleaner. A lady comes out the Family Dollar. It was one of my patients. And she says, Amina, what are you doing here? We have been looking for you. They didn't tell us where you left. And I asked her this question. I said, if I open a pharmacy here, would you come? She would say, absolutely. Here's my phone number. So I said, here goes a confirmation. And as I'm talking to her, an older gentleman coming out of the dry cleaner, Mr. Fred goes, Amina, hugs me. He's like, I missed you so much. No one will tell us which store you went to. They thought I was transferred to another CVS.
Oh,
and
wow.
They were trying to find me. So I told this guy, I want this space. And so I signed.
That is so cool.
It is so crazy. I signed this space and I said, okay, so what do I do next? I went online on Google again. How do you open a pharmacy? And I got a whole, like McKesson showed up, North Carolina Mutual, Okay, bye. So I talked to North Carolina Mutual and they took a chance with me. So they took a chance and said, tell us your story, why you want to open. I said, I found this place right across of the CVS that I worked. This is what happened. I know this community. I know all the patients that go there. And so they said, and I said, and I don't have money either. And it was 2009 and the banks were not giving any loans.
Right.
So they said, we're going to give you 1 year, $120,000 credit. Okay. And we're going to help you get started. And I said, that's all I need. 120,000. I have credit. I have the space. And my friend who had sold the pharmacy had some fixtures that were stored somewhere. And she always told me, she said, you will make a very good independent pharmacy owner one day. And if you need, here are the computers, here are counters and baskets. I was naive to think that's all you needed to open a pharmacy, but I am a person who's not afraid to fail. See, and again, what you said, perspective is everything. So where I come from, this is already more than I have. So it's okay. So I was like, what's the worst that could happen? It can't be worse than what I've seen. Because in America, the worst, I could work at McDonald's and have a paycheck. That
Right.
is more than a lot of people have options around the world where you could still get money and live. Maybe not how you want to, but you're not going to be out the streets. So because that's my bottom line, it's like if the bottom line is still better,
Yeah.
It's actually, it gives me hope to try things because it's okay if I fail, And so I was able to take that leap of faith, and with the resources that Mutual gave me, Now I went back to my friends at the in-home infusion, and there were a few pharmacists that I knew. And I said, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to need y'all's help because I want to continue working here 3 days a week so I can have some income. And then I reached out to some of my other friends that still worked at the chain, because at those days we used to work 14-hour shifts, right? So you would have a week that you worked 4 days and you had 3 days off, or you worked 3 days and you had 4 days off. So I told a few friends, each one of you are going to cover me in this new store one day. I have no money to pay you, but one day I will. Okay? I said, one day I have the money and I'll pay you. But for now, let's just make this happen. And they said, we're on board, Amina. We'll help you. And that's exactly how I opened the first store. And the day we opened, I realized how much I had meant to so many of those patients that 2 years, because we sent out flyers with my photo in there, and the phone calls that came and the patients that transferred. My supervisor at that district is still my friend till today. She said, I had never seen something like that before, because they sent coupons to these patients to transfer back. And the patient said, that's not worth it. We don't want your $50.
Wow.
That's how strong relationships I had made, that I hadn't realized by taking care of the patients the way they felt was the right way to take care of. A $50 coupon was not worth it. They were getting $50 per prescription that goes back, and they say no. And I still have so many of those patients until today. I just keep them until I attend their funerals, because they really meant that much to me too.
Sure.
So that's just how my story was of building it. They took me to their churches. They are the ones who marketed. I have to tell you this, Will. I didn't even have the time to make an official recording on the phone that had, thank you for calling this pharmacy. Yeah. And I remember one of my older patients came to me one day and said, Amina, I want to give you a gift. I don't like the voicemail on your message where it says, I even forgot about it. It says, you have reached 704. and I said, you're right. I forgot about all those things, right?
Right.
I was now transferring prescriptions, filling them, and using the mutual 120,000 credit to only order what these patients are transferring. And so that's how I did it. So-and-so is transferring, I'll buy 3 months of their supplies using that money. So I just budgeted the 120. As we grew, I would return so-and-so's 1 month supply and buy the next patient's 1 month supply using that 120,000 credit. So it was a necessity.
I can't believe I've never heard this story. But that is, so a couple of things that stand out, like because of your perspective, your risk tolerance is much different than the average person's risk tolerance, I think, at that, because we have this very elevated comfort level that we've gained this much ground. It's hard to, risk anything, so risk is such a challenging thing. So I think that's really cool how you took that. But the other thing that stands out is that, you were doing so much work that you're technically not getting paid for, but you've built so much goodwill in the community that, there's so much value that was demonstrated in that process that, it is really impossible to put a price tag on. Like, it's such a cool story. Thanks for listening to this clip from Beyond the Scripts, presented by the Catalyst Pharmacy Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please support our channel by liking, subscribing, and clicking the notification bell so that you'll be notified anytime we post new content. To stay up to date with all of the latest independent pharmacy news and content, follow PioneerRx on your preferred social media platform.